Good evening once again. It's Mwesimbo SKY Vanji still. And yeah, I was again back to the snippet I talked about briefly of the education system in Uganda. It's rather, it's not trying to be pessimistic or rather downplay the emotions felt by the Honorable Minister in as far as what she thinks perhaps is concerned. But to talk about being a godsend, and you have served the whole term, and we ideally don't know what plan you have for the education sector itself, and even the fact that we don't know per se how the education sector is run in the country, because we hear about the bursaries, education grants by foreign agencies and nations that come through the Ministry of Education. How are they handled? Who receives, who gets to decide who receives such? And the scholarships, I mean, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, that are channeled through the Ministry of Education. Of course, we've heard stories of how certain people who are privy to, the realities in the Ministry of Education confirm that actually the grants, the bursaries and scholarships that has come through the Ministry of Education are geared towards certain regions of the country. How the benefactors, the beneficiaries of the same are supposed to be from a certain, people group and so forth and so on. This is not to kind of, to drum up, drums of chaos or trying to go against certain people or individuals or groups of people in the country. But the things that a godsend for now should have at least helped us to appreciate that there's been a streamlining of how things are handled in the ministry before we even talk about being a godsend. It's godsend. Now things are streamlined in the ministry. Who receives what? How do they apportion? Because we're told literally that many Ugandans should be almost educated at just mere pennies, but people are still dishing out their livelihoods to acquire, an education. So if you can get maybe an explanation of such, and how it's going on right now that the minister is in charge of how the scholarships and grants and loans or schemes funds are happening, well and good. Thank you. We'll be good to go.